Hello and welcome into another daytime portion of Computer America. And we're here live now from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on our new daytime schedule. That's why Ben's face looks so glowing and white now, because there's actually sunshine hitting him rather than incandescent lighting.
Now you actually see the true color of Ben's skin.
That's right. Mike Cermak is here with the first hour, techguy.org, open mic night. We could answer your questions, comments, and also in the second hour, we're going to have Computer and Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax as we just test out Mike's live video stream, and we'll get started in less than a minute. Hey, Mike, can you hear us?
Oh, hi there. No, I can't.
1 minute until showtime.
You can't hear us.
I saw Ben's face there. He got it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Craig got it, but
I got it. I'm just panicking. That's all.
Am I a dark silhouette, or can you see me all right?
No, we can see you fine. You look good.
Outstanding. Okay. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but.
Well, okay. All right, good. All right, well, put yourself on mute. We're going to start in about 45 seconds, or just stand by, and then we'll get started. All righty. Mike, you want to get on to AIM too?
I don't know if I still have AIM, but I can get into the chat room. Let me see.
There is no chat room anymore.
What do you mean there's no chat room anymore?
No, we've abandoned the chat room. We have a submit a question now form on there. We don't. So that's why
I'm not even going to recognize the show anymore. Are you still the host?
Yeah. As far
what time is the show? What's going on here?
10 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And welcome into another edition of the Computer America Show. And yes, it is our day 2 of our brand new schedule. That's right. We're now on 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, and we are live at this point now. And it's working out great. I mean, it's taking. We have a few adjustments. I keep saying tonight. I now have to keep saying today, and I'm working on that and getting. Doing it off almost 20 years just in the evening. Originally, the show actually was in the daytime. We had a daytime show, and it was originally on the weekend. And then we went national, and it was on daytime for a short period, and then we went on to the 10 p.m. to midnight time slot, and I've been there ever since. And now our networks have asked us to move back to daytime to get even more of our listeners. It's working out to be very convenient. I mean, our guests are more readily available, in the daytime as they are opposed to nighttime. They don't have to go to do their show from their home; they can do it from their office or work. So far it's proving to be a very good time slot for us here at Computer America. Now, let me just get this out of the way. The number to call if you have a question for myself or our guest is 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Also, on every single page of Computer America, if you're radio shy, you don't want to call us, it says submit a question in the upper right hand corner of every page. Just click that, you'll go to our question submission page, ask your question, hit the submit button, and both Ben and I will instantly see your question so we can ask it of our guests or comment on it on the air. It's another great way to get a hold of us. See how simple that is? Of course, the easiest way is the 347-884-8881. And the other thing that you can do now is join us in our live video stream. That's right, because not only are we a radio talk show, you can now watch the Computer America Show via our live video. All you have to do that, just go to our show lounge. Again, that's on every page of Computer America on our menu bar. It's the second item from the left there. It says Show Lounge. Just click it. It will automatically begin our live video stream, and you can watch the show. You can see myself. You can see Ben. You can see our guest. It usually can see our guest, and today you will be able to see Mike. The other interesting thing is that if you're watching the live video stream, Ben has the technology to display in the background on his portion of the video websites, live video. Anything that you can see, he can display on his screen, on his video portion. So it just makes things to be more interactive. You can see things happening. It just enriches the experience that we call Computer America to you, our listeners.
Oh, and I'm not sure if you mentioned this yet, but Computer America is at a new time.
Yes, several times, 3 to 5 p.m. daytime.
Well, see, the funny thing is that we are still getting messages on social media and other places about last night, the night before. Everyone's like, "Hey, did you guys cancel your show? Hey, did you move? Did you stop broadcasting on so-and-so network? Hey, what happened? What happened? What happened?" And no, for the last 2 weeks, we've been saying on the air every night that we're switching times 3 to 5. But there's still a few people. I don't know where they've been. They're confused where we went.
Well, we'll try to unconfuse them, and we'll try to let them know at the beginning of every show that we are on 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. That is our new live show. Now, obviously, you can time shift the show. You can watch it at any time you like because we archive all of our programming at ComputerAmerica.com. We're on Apple's iTunes. We're on SoundCloud now. We're on Stitcher now. Blog Talk Radio archives our shows. A lot of different networks archive our show, so you can watch it time shifted. But if you want to watch it live, L-I-V-E, then we invite you to be here at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, and enjoy the experience. Okay, well, let's bring our guest on and get him involved with everything that we're talking about here tonight. Mike Cermak is the owner-operator of TechGuy.org, which is a website dedicated to helping others with their computer problems and answering their questions. If you're looking for free technical support, TechGuy.org is the right place for you to be. It's been around since 1996, and Mike's site is run completely by volunteers and paid for completely by donations and sponsors. Mike is also one of our Computer America correspondents who appears on every first Wednesday of the month. You need to check out his new website. They just updated it. It looks really, really nice. Mike, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing great. That's what the other thing was, Craig.
What?
We were just talking before the show about what topics we were going to talk about, and
Yeah.
a week ago you and I talked, and that was the other thing, the website update.
Ah, okay.
I knew there was something else. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Was it painless for you? I mean, was the update really easy to go through, or?
No update is ever painless or easy, especially when you have so many users. It's a huge site. We have lots and lots of posts that, I don't remember how many hundreds of thousands of users are signed up on there. And I'm just trying to load up the stats here. So we've got 725,000 registered users with
Wow.
9 million posts.
Wow.
And so no matter what you do with that kind of group, it's not painless. But it overall, it went very well, and I'm very happy that we did it. We probably should have done it years ago. We were using some pretty antiquated software, and it's
Wow,
a
that sounds familiar.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the software we were using was heavily customized version of vBulletin, and it's a forum, as most of your listeners probably know. You can go in and post questions, and volunteers try to answer your questions, and we've been doing it for forever. And this software was written about 10 years ago and had been updated a couple years after that, but it's been a good 7 years since there was a serious update to the software. And back then iPhones weren't a thing. You really didn't have mobile web like you do now, and just code was written differently. There's a lot of things that you couldn't do then that you can do now, and it wasn't optimized the way it is today. So it's a big improvement. It's beautiful on mobile. It works well. It has notifications like Facebook. We have some other features we're working on that we'll be able to roll out now that we're on a newer platform, and I'm actually very, very excited about it.
Yeah, we have a lot of people. That's very, very good. And I'm curious. Were you using front page like we were? I mean, we started off with front page.
We weren't quite that far behind. No.
Yeah, we used front page, and then eventually we moved over to Wix. And now I think we're on WordPress. As we continue to change and make
Our
this.
homepage is actually in WordPress as well. If you go to techguy.org, that main landing page there and the couple of how it works and
Yeah.
awards and history and all that kind of stuff, that's all done in WordPress. WordPress is a really powerful platform. People have underestimated it for a long time, and it's a nice system.
Yeah, and if you go to techguy.org and you go to like our awards, you can see all the different places, including Computer America. We have a link there, and we were talking about putting some other links on TechGuy and also links on ComputerAmerica.com to TechGuy. So it's a mutual exclusive.
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, you're the first big link there on under recognitions, and we've had some big ones in there. We got the Today Show and Reader's Digest and PC World, and
Wow.
you're the first one there. Well, you're actually on there twice.
Yeah.
The very first time I was on the radio with you, I put it on here back October 15th, 2004.
Wow.
I should have put it on there every time I've been on since. Imagine how many links that would be.
That would be wonderful. You should do that.
October 15, 2004. I think you know Craig longer than I have.
That's been a little while. I didn't realize it had been that long, Craig. Honestly, until I looked at this moment.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you that.
Now, do you have AIM too? You used to be on AIM, and I don't see you.
I used to love AIM, and I don't have it anymore. I'll have to install it. You'll have to send me in our private Hangout chat what my username was on AIM, because that's how long it's been since I've used it.
Okay, well, here, I'm going to type it now, and that's...
Well, I'm glad that we've all upgraded and gotten rid of antiquated software and behind the scenes. And as Craig and Mike discuss how to get back on AIM.
Listen here, back in my day, AIM was the... I used to use Powwow. Either of you guys remember Powwow? I bet you some of the listeners know Powwow. Powwow was the thing. That's how I used to talk with my first girlfriend, through Powwow over the internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
That,
You're thinking, he had a girlfriend?
Is Powwow still around?
I don't think it is. I bet you it has a wiki page, though. Wiki Powwow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm looking for you to appear on, because I know I have you registered. So when you appear, I will see you on the on AIM. So we'll see you appear there. But in the meantime, one of the things that we always ask Mike is to talk about. We always say, what topics would you like to talk about? But let you know, as our listeners, that if you call or have a question for us, we'll interrupt what we're doing and answer your question, because one of the things that we do in the spirit of techguy.org is try to help you with any computer problem that you have. So if something's not working, your computer is hiccuping, or it's not turning on, whatever it might be, we're going to try to help you. Mike is extremely good at what he does.
Computer hiccuping?
Yeah, computer.
Folks, you can send us a message and let us know that your computer is showing signs of life. That's a huge problem. We should tackle that.
Artificial intelligence. That's
Yeah.
the first sign when they start to hiccup.
Mm-hmm.
So for your interest, Powwow was started in 1994 by John McAfee, who later created
Really?
McAfee Security. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there it is. He's a kind of a colorful fellow himself, but
It's weird how many big shots in the tech industry started doing something else, and then they start little things that quite a few people use, but then they kind of took the expertise and maybe some of the connections they made and made antivirus software or a search engine, or you can find little traces of little things they did, but then you know them for something huge like antivirus.
Right.
So what we thought we would start talking about is something relatively, I don't know if how new the service, I think it's fairly new, Google Fi. That's Google and then capital F little I, Google Fi, I guess, which is a new phone service that Google is offering, and certainly would like to tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so it's called Project Fi. It's from Google, and it is a phone service. So it's just like AT&T or Verizon or something like that for your phone to connect to a cellular provider. They kind of act as the cellular provider. And it's interesting. It's invite only at the moment, but they're hoping to widen it, in the near future. And it's prepaid, so you pay them $20 a month for unlimited text and voice, and then $10 for every gigabyte that you use. And it's prepaid, but then for however much data you don't use. So, for example, for me, I signed up for the $20 text and voice and 3 gigabytes of data. So it's $50 a month. But if I only use 2 gigs of data, they actually refund the difference. You only get charged for how much data you use, which I thought was interesting.
Now, you used to have you had a different Google service. It was the
Google Voice?
Google Voice. So you coordinated. So when I would call your cell phone number, it said say your name and and who you were, and then it would go beep, and then it would say now Google Voice is now trying to find my it would go filming a whole series of steps trying to locate you. And either it would come on, or it said, "No, we can't find him," which usually means you didn't want to talk to me. And,
That's right. And now I just have it go straight to voicemail.
Yeah,
Save the
but you
time
can do that. You can have certain numbers go direct to voicemail. I mean, you could set up Google.
With Google Voice, you could. I think you can still do most of that with Google Project Fi. Project Fi has a lot of the same Google Voice architecture underneath it. So a lot of the same settings and everything are actually through Google Voice that controls Google Fi. And in fact, when I signed up for Project Fi, I transferred my Google Voice number to Project Fi. So that I could use it directly with my phone. So the way Google Voice used to work is it was based on an old program called Grand Central, and you could put in your home phone number and your work phone number and your cell phone number and whatever you wanted, and when someone called this new number, then it would ring them all or ring them one after another and try to locate where you are. So you could just give someone one phone number and it would call the different numbers in order.
What's wrong? Well, what was wrong with that? Why weren't you happy with that? Why did you go to Google Fi?
Well, I was happy with that, but that is not a cell service. So I used Google Voice up until about a week ago, and I had AT&T for my phone service. But so with Google Project Fi, you actually use Google as your phone carrier. So you pay them, and so I no longer have to have a bill through AT&T. I just have to pay this $50 or whatever it is a month to Google, which is a lot less than I was paying AT&T. And it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting advantages to using Google for the cell provider. First of all, the way they do it is Google doesn't have their own towers like AT&T and Verizon and everyone else does. What they have instead is a deal with T-Mobile and Sprint. So the SIM card that they send you, and for those who don't know, your phone very likely has a little SIM card in it, and I can even hold it up here. I don't know if you can see that,
Yeah,
but there's a tiny little SIM card that goes into your phone, and that tells the network that you connect to, the identification of your account, so it knows what phone number your phone should be attached to and who to bill. And that SIM card that Google Fi sends you whenever you sign up actually has a T-Mobile and Sprint carrier information on it. It has two different profiles. So they send you this little packet. Actually, I have it right here with me by coincidence. But they send you this little packet with the Google Fi information, and this is all the bigger it is. It's like the size of a business card that they send you, and inside of it is a little card that just tells you to, using only Iconese and not any actual language, tells you to remove the SIM card out of your phone and put this new one in.
Now, it only works with one particular kind of phone, my understanding, because I did some research on Google Fi. I have an iPhone. Oh, maybe there's something. But it says, no, you need a Nexus and a specific type of Nexus phone, so at least for now, to work. Are they going to expand it? Or are they
Yeah, they are. I actually know someone who uses Google Fi on an iPhone, but it's not officially supported yet. And the biggest thing about it is that it has those two different profiles on it that switches between T-Mobile or Sprint, depending on where you are and where the strongest signal is. But on iPhones and other devices, they don't directly support that yet. So the only phone that is supported by it right now is the Nexus 6. And that's what I have here. It's my Nexus 6.
Yes,
and it's a nice phone. I really like it. It's about the size of an iPhone 6 Plus. It's a big screen, but I really like it.
It is a big phone, not something you can put in your shirt pocket.
No, you're right. It doesn't fit in the shirt pocket. Even when I sit down, I usually pull it out of my pants pocket. It's just not. I don't think I'm going to break it, but it's just not comfortable at that angle. So.
Well, I've always wondered about those larger phones, and I understand the practicality behind them. It's just the portability of them. You have to,
Yeah.
You've got to find another way. How do you carry it around? You put
It's not like you need a backpack to carry it around or anything.
No, but you carry.
I usually just keep it in my purse.
Oh, there you go.
All right, but I'm not making any comment about that. But
Well, no, you see, the person went nasty with his heels, so.
I say he said that, not me. But the thing is, so do you keep it in your front pant pockets, or do you back. The back.
Yep, I usually keep it in the front pocket, and it's usually just whenever I sit down, I pull it out and set it on the table in front of me, and don't even think about it again.
So
I've just kind of done that instinctively, but.
So you can't put things like change or anything.
No, although I really wouldn't do that anyway with any phone. I wouldn't really put change or keys in the same pocket as my phone before.
And scratch it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Dedicated one of the 2 pants pockets you have now to that.
Right.
But, and is there now? Of course, with Apple, the big thing was Bendgate. You know.
Right.
Meaning the phones bending. That's another concern. Now in the front pocket, it probably won't happen. But when you're in the car, do you keep it in your do you keep it in your pants, or do you pull it out?
Whoa, we're getting a little personal now.
On the dashboard. I mean, what do you do?
I actually have a. The nice thing with the Nexus 6 is it actually also has wireless charging capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have a wireless charger for it in my car. So I usually pull it out and lay it on the wireless charger in my car. And it connects to Bluetooth automatically, but it's still handy in case you need to pick it up to dial someone or something like that. It's laying right there.
We got a question. It's a comment sent to you from one of our listeners, and he says this is from Jonathan. He says, I missed the chat room. He says I can't pick on Magic Mike anymore.
No, but he still is through the comments. He's still doing it.
He's still doing. He can still pick on you that way.
I'm still Magic, Yeah. Well, and back to Project Fi for just a minute.
Yes.
I wanted to mention also that it also automatically makes and receives calls through Wi-Fi, and it's not the only phone that does that. But through Project Fi, it'll do that automatically for you. So if you're connected to Wi-Fi somewhere, even if you don't have cell service, you can make and receive calls through that, which is nice. And it actually automatically picks up a lot of public Wi-Fi access points. And whenever it connects to them, like when I was at Starbucks the other day, it automatically picked up Starbucks, connected me to it, and was making and receiving calls through that. But it encrypts it. So anything, even if you're on an open, public, unencrypted Wi-Fi, it creates like a VPN tunnel. And all data and voice that go through it is actually encrypted. So it's even more secure than what the phone was before.
Now, and that's one of the key things I saw about that it actually it allows you to do all these nice things. You're using more than one method of connection. When you get a cell phone, basically you're either 3G or 4G or LTE, and you have that one. With Google Fi, you're actually there's a way of sharing or working with more than one.
Some level of redundancy is always good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I always joke I have my Nexus, which was through AT&T until I switched to Project Fi, and I had an iPad, which I had connected through Verizon. It has a cellular connections as well. But I purposefully did that. I had one through one carrier and one through the other carrier, just depending on where I was geographically, where the better signal was. If I'm on the West Coast, a lot of times the Verizon is a better connection, and when I'm on the East Coast, usually AT&T is, but not always.
Okay. So, and there's a little video which I encourage people to watch, which allows you to see how, as you travel, geographically, that it automatically senses, looks for the stronger signal, and if it finds a Wi-Fi connection, it's going to attach it to that, and then if you're back to the cell tower, it'll take you back to the cell tower, and this is all seamless. You don't know this is happening. It's you don't miss any data. It just or voice commands. Or speech, if you're using speech, if you're talking to somebody, you don't notice it. As you wouldn't notice it with regular cell phone service anyway. Cell phone service, that's the concept behind cell phone service. You move from one cell to another, you get handed off, but you don't hear that happening.
Yeah, that's the idea. It actually isn't quite as seamless as you would hope when going to and from Wi-Fi. Whenever you're going to and from Wi-Fi between cellular, sometimes calls are dropped. It's not quite as seamless as you'd like it to be. I suspect that's something they're going to continue to work on, but...
Okay, well...
But yeah, you're right. That is the idea.
And I guess, as with anything that's new...
Well, not even new. I mean, we use AT&T, and I'll notice that when, browser surfing and whatnot, going from Wi-Fi to LTE, there's hiccups there. It's, I don't think anyone has really had that problem licked.
I think you're right.
So, and again, this is anything. Now, is this thing? Does it say? Does Wi-Fi, Google Fi say? It in beta, one of the famous in beta things.
I bet it does. I don't know that. I don't remember, but I'll bet it does. It's fi.google.com.
Yeah, you do have to request an invite.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So not just everybody can join it. Then you have to be invited.
I think that's the case at the moment, but I'm sure that will change.
Well,
And my understanding from what I've read is that Google isn't really interested in doing this forever and really taking over as a cell carrier. I think they're just trying to demonstrate some of the capability of the new technology, of being able to do all of this and trying to encourage other carriers to do the same thing.
Well, then do you run the risk of being orphaned one day?
Of course. Anytime you do anything online, you always run that risk. Even with Google Voice, you always run that risk. I would hope that they would be good enough to at least be able to push you back to Google Voice if that were to happen, but I haven't heard anything to make me believe that'll happen anytime soon.
Well, yeah, well, not.
Google has a history of doing things like this, though, and just the very glaring one is their Google Fiber project, just showing that, hey, Google, fiber internet connection speeds are possible. Check out what we can do, and they're driving companies to provide better internet service. Are you saying this is somewhat similar?
I think it is. Yep, I think that's exactly what it's going to be, Ben. Yep. I think they're just trying to demonstrate the capability and encourage other ones to do that.
Okay. So far, are you happy with it?
I'm a little bit mixed. It's not quite ready for prime time, to be perfectly honest. And the cell service is sporadic because I think it's switching between the different towers trying to find the best connection. So sometimes I'll be standing outside and looking at it and I'll have 4 bars, and then literally a minute later I'll have 0 bars, and then literally 30 seconds later I'll have 4 bars. And I think it's switching between Sprint and T-Mobile to try and find the best, fastest connection. But in doing so, then I don't have any useful data while it's doing that. And so it's a little bit painful in that, and then the activation process of it has been painful. I've had to go through, there's a Project Fi app you download, and I don't know if I can show that. I don't have the great technology that Ben does to be able to put that behind me, but there's this app that you download, and it shows you your current billing cycle and how much data you've used and all these other daily usage buttons and so on, and there's an alert that will pop up across the top periodically saying that your phone isn't completely activated on all networks. Click here to activate it. And I'll click there to activate it, and it says unable to activate. That's a great screenshot. Thank you, Ben. See, Ben can do these things, and it'll come up with an alert that says, it's not completely activated. Click here to activate it, and sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it won't, and it just doesn't seem to be staying activated. In fact, earlier today, after my excitement with my internet provider, I had to call Google Fi and have them reactivate it again. So it's not been a very productive day for me today. But I like the idea, I like the technology, but I think it's still that bleeding edge, which it's not public, it's still invite only, which I think most people would read as beta. So I'm not surprised by that. I knew I was getting into bleeding edge with bugs.
But a lot of this is, of course, pay as you go, which is another very important deviation from all the other cell carriers out there, where you pay a rather large service plan, and then whatever's unused. Some people roll over, though data doesn't tend to roll over nowadays, and you have so this is completely pay as you go.
You're absolutely right, and then along those same lines, there's no contract. So if I decide I don't like them, I can switch my SIM card right now while we're on the radio show and switch back to AT&T, and there's no early termination fee or anything like that through Google.
But you couldn't get your phone subsidized. You had to buy the phone outright then. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep, that's right.
Some people like the
But that's a trend that's going on. Like more and more. I think AT&T is like the last one to offer a subsidized phone.
Yeah, and not only that, I just saw something on Sprint a couple of days ago, and I saw it again last night. Is that it's a new this new plan that they have that you're always guaranteed. It's called iPhone Forever. You're always guaranteed the latest iPhone. And I think the update is like $15 or something, and you're always guaranteed to have the latest iPhone. Every single, as soon as it comes out, that you can just replace it.
What?
Yep. Yeah. It's called iPhone Forever. It's a new plan that they have. So they're always having these competitive deals. So much for Google Fi.
Get your iPhone for $22 a month. Anytime you don't have the latest, you are eligible to upgrade. For a limited time, get the special offer for only $15 a month. you are eligible to upgrade.
Anytime they get a new iPhone. That's the wording.
So you have to pay an extra $22, non-promotion, $15 for promotion, an extra $22 on top of your service plan every month.
Right, but then how much is then you can upgrade at any time. It doesn't specify for free.
I would guess there would be some kind of upgrade fee that you're eligible for some kind of special promotion again for being enrolled in the plan. But still, let's say you go 12 months before you upgrade, that's still an extra $300 that you're paying.
At $15.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So and they probably say you can't upgrade more than every 18 months or 24 months. There has to be some kind of stipulation there. I've never met a phone company that had a true, transparent, really good deal.
It looks like that is the case. That it's exactly the way you're reading it. I'm reading an article now. It says, for example, an iPhone costs $650 if you pay Sprint the full retail price up front, or $27 for 24 months. If you were to use the 2-year financing plan. Paying $22 for a lease does save money on your monthly bill, but with one huge drawback: you never own the phone yourself.
Right.
You're only leasing it.
Well,
So if it gets damaged or destroyed, you actually do have to then pay them for the cost of the phone.
Which you would have to do if you owned it yourself anyway. It's not as though...
Yeah,
depending
true.
on the damage, I suppose. If it's your phone and you break the screen, you could have a third-party company replace it. If you're leasing it, can you have third-party people work on it?
Oh, probably breaks.
Would they even know if you did?
Probably.
Are they gonna, and at the end of the lease, if you hand it back to Sprint with a broken screen or a scratched back or a not working camera or something, is there going to be if you use more than so many miles on your lease, so they charge you extra per mile? Is that?
I don't know. The mysteries of cell phone carriers continues here. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Mike Cermak from TechGuy.org is here with us. We're talking about all kinds of things. Right now we're talking about cellular service, and we've got another News Tips Pull review from Marty Winston as well. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Computer America.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. I want to tell you something about VTech. They always have the coolest telephone systems around. VTech's new 4-line small business phone system, the perfect solution for small business owners that need to install a phone system that has qualities and features that have previously only been available for companies with bigger budgets. First of all, this new system is the most affordable and easy to install 4-line phone system on the market. Its components allow the system to grow alongside a business, up to 10 extensions that can be located anywhere. The 4-line small business phone system also comes equipped with a number of advanced features such as auto attendant for each line, a digital answering machine with mailboxes for every extension, full duplex speakerphones, music on hold, power failure operation, 6-way conferencing, and much, much more. The VTech 4-line small business phone system is available in stores and online at Office Depot, Office Max, and Staples, as well as online at www.vtechphones.com. Tell them I sent you.
Hey, who turned the sun on? Didn't this used to be a nighttime show? Oh, hi, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Zacky's Turn Signal Clubs. Still, Zacky's invited us to get their gloves with built-in LED turn signals. We couldn't resist. The turn signals are outward-pointing arrows on the back of the gloves with contact buttons on the finger and thumb to activate them. Each arrow blinks 9 LEDs. They're bright and respond to bright ambient light by getting even brighter. Their batteries are rechargeable, and a recharger comes with. When you take the battery pack off, the gloves are washable. There's a lot of good engineering here, anticipating and eliminating our usual sources of complaints. Bottom line, Zacky's turn signal gloves take biking safety in a good direction. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. And that sun thing, does it have to be out there?
Welcome to our life. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Yes, in the sunshine, 3:33 p.m. Just want to throw that out there. And yeah, we're talking to Mike Cermak, owner and operator of TechGuide.org. Site that we've been linking to for a while now, and it's just a great place to find tech support. I've been there many, many times, found the answers I need, and yes, I even stop by the gaming forum every now and again and try to help people on there myself.
Good for you.
So, yeah, no, it's fun to see kind of problems that people are having, and just kind of like reading, trying to give advice, and then when you come up with that problem, you can see other people and what they recommend, and then you aren't just sitting there having to start at square one. Hey, if you keep up to date on this stuff, you kind of have a place to start from. So it's
sure. Well, and the other thing I always tell people about the site is that you always know more about something than someone else does. You know, there's people on there who are asking very simple, basic questions, all the way up to very advanced gaming or Linux or web development questions. And there's someone on there who knows the answer to it. Even if you're on the site asking questions about something you don't know, chances are good there's someone else on the site asking questions about something you do know. So right. it's just a great community thing where people can help one another, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. We have a lot of great people there.
And it is, and true, and we only get it for 2 hours each day because, but of course, TechGuide.org is there 24/7, which is a really nice thing. By the way, Jonathan sent another comment about the phone. He says you have to turn in the previous iPhone in good working condition to upgrade, and the $22 or $15 price is for leasing the device, so you never own it, which is what we said. So there it is.
Right. I think he's right. Yep.
Okay.
So it sounds like
you have to take it, just like with a car, you have to take it through the car wash first before you return the lease.
Exactly.
So whatever they deem good working condition, and what other people might say, oh, that's fine. They might just charge you a little bit extra fee if there's dirt in places or whatnot. But some people, I think in the long run, I know that initial $600-$700 charge is a lot to swallow. But if you could own your phone, like if you could just make that leap, you'll find that you're going to get a lot more savings out of owning it outright than renting it, leasing it, or what have you, or subsidizing it.
But most people subsidize their phones. I think it's just because it's that initial hammer, that large price that causes people to subsidize it or pay.
But the thing that a lot of people don't think about is you're paying a set price for whatever phone you get, and then supposedly after 2 years you've paid the device off.
Yeah, you own it.
But if you don't change your plan or anything, after 2 years you aren't going to see a reduction in your phone bill. They keep charging you the same amount.
You're
supposed to, but if you're still leasing it after 2 years, you keep that same amount. Like after 2 years, regardless, 2 years with the same phone, there's 2 generations of phone better out there already. But if you don't change it, they keep charging you. You're losing even more money.
So then you need and notifying them, say, okay, look, I paid the phone off. Now why are you still?
It's the same deal with cable companies and internet service and all that kind of stuff. You lock in a promotional deal, and after 18 months or 2 years, whatever the promotion is, they'll up the cost. And if you don't say anything, you're going to be paying more. Whereas if you just picked up the phone, say you're looking for another promotion, they'll give it to you. It's a way to save a lot of money that I think a lot of people just kind of let slip off the table, and they just keep paying it because who wants to bother?
Okay.
I just had a similar experience, and I won't mention any names, Craig, but I had a promotion, and my cable bill went way up, and And so then I did just as Ben mentioned, and as I've done in the past, is called and said, hey, what other deals do you have? And they said, well, get on the website. There's usually better deals online. So I went online, logged into my account, went to upgrades, and they had an upgrade there for another promotion. If I sign up for 2 years, it's going to be so much a month, no problem, and sign up for it and get a confirmation email about it. And this was back on July 21st. And didn't get the equipment and called them 5 times, and they gave me various tracking numbers, and finally got the equipment yesterday, and then went on to my account and found out that they had doubled my bill instead of reducing it.
Doubled?
Yes. Yeah, doubled it. And
well, did you double the amount of phone calls back to them?
I did, yeah. I was so frustrated. It's been a terrible day. I've spent hours and hours with them, and called them, and I said, well, I have this confirmation email, and in the email it says, here's your one-time fee, here's your new monthly rate, here's your confirmation number, here's all your information. So I said, well, she said, I don't have any record of that order. I said, well, let me give you the confirmation number. And she says, oh, we can't look it up by confirmation number.
Then what's the purpose?
I don't understand.
So then she says, well, if it was an online order, the phone agents can't look up online orders. You have to do a chat to look up online orders. So I do a chat. Anyhow, we go back and forth and I think we might finally have it figured out. But it took actually having to cancel the service. Earlier today, I said that I'm not going to pay double what I was double what the out of contract was. I'm not going to pay that. And she says, well, the only thing I can do is cancel it. I said, fine, cancel it. And so I canceled it, and then just a little bit ago I got a phone call from their executive care team because I think they saw some of the not so nice things I was writing on social media.
On top of that, Mike, you don't have another place to go. That's what's really the
well, don't say that too loud. I don't want anyone to know that. The fact is that where I live, I hate monopolies. Actually, I put hashtag monopolies suck, I think, in my social media posts. But where I happen to live, it is this provider for cable and internet and no other. There's no DSL where I live. There's no anything else. I could get satellite internet, but who wants to pay for that? I wouldn't be able to do this chat right now. It would use up all the bandwidth you're given. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, Craig, don't say that too loudly because then they'll know that they have them over a barrel. That's not good.
That's exactly it. They know it.
The one thing that I always
here, no nothing.
Exactly. The one thing I always tell people, and and I use it myself, is that whenever your promotion ends and you see that bill skyrocket, because the promotion deals are so good, and you're going to notice when they end. So I always call up and say, I really like the service, but I can't afford this price, and I'm looking at others. And I want to cancel my service. Then they'll, instead of sending you through customer service, they'll send you through, new contracts.
Retention.
Exactly. They send you to retention, and those are the ones that have, the ultimate ability to just slash your bill, left and right. That's
and I suggest, you're absolutely right, Ben, absolutely right. And I suggest doing what I had done when I first called in July to do this, is I was being completely sincere. At that time, I didn't realize DSL wasn't available in my neighborhood, and I really did get prices from the competitors. I went out to the phone company here and other providers and got prices and went to Dish and the other, then I said, listen, I can get this deal with this amount of data and this, and the internet connection would be 5 megabits slower, but it's going to save me $100 a month. What can you guys do? And which I will tell you, I'm 100% honest when I was saying I was willing to switch to those other ones, and now that I've gone through this torture, if one of those other ones were available, I can guarantee you I would have gone through one of them.
Well, and it does it makes a lot of sense, but as you say, a monopoly, there's not too much you can do.
I know.
But you got contacted by them, some sort of I guess retention. Somebody said, "Oh, we're going to look into this and see."
Yeah, it's an executive care team or something like that who called me, and actually while we've been on the radio here in the last hour, they've called me again and left me a voicemail. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna no, I'm kidding. I'm gonna call them after we're off the air and see what's going on. But it sounded to me as though they were going to be able to solve it. So I'm quite hopeful.
One of the things that I've noticed, by the way, moving to this daytime slot that we're in, I've seen something appear on Ben's video that I have not seen for the longest of time, and that's the letters HD. It looks like our connection speed is just better in the daytime at this time slot. I think at 10 p.m. to midnight, I think more people are watching TV and downloading Netflix and doing it because you're sharing that link. But during the daytime, we seem to have a better internet connection. I don't
That's
know
interesting.
Ben.
You have to see if that continues.
Yeah.
People are watching me?
Yeah.
Wait, what? There's a camera?
Surreptitious.
Yeah. Exactly. It just, I don't know. It just seems daytime connection seems to be better, I guess, because less people are home.
I used to live right next to a high school that was connected through cable internet, and I was connected through cable internet, and had quite the opposite experience. That during the day, the internet did not work well at all because all of the data was being used by the high school, and at night it worked very well. It was kind of interesting how it was just the opposite.
Yeah, and well, here we're in a rural community, and so most people are either at work or they're not using it as much. So it just seems to be a better connection during the day. Just a side observation. So that's it pretty much for phone services. I think again, obviously try to look for the best deal. That's advice that I'm sure that most of our listeners already know. But in this last few minutes that we have with you, we have about 15 minutes left. Did you want to talk about Windows 10, or did you? I do.
What I want to do is get to the quiz.
Oh, the quiz. Okay, well we can do the quiz.
Craig likes to avoid the quiz because he is a perennial not winner. So
he's not doing real well. Yeah, he's not doing real well. I wonder if I have my scores on here. It looks like
the technique I use.
Looks like Ben's winning. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. In my flawed head, I believe the score is 9-3. That sounds about right.
I think that's about right. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like I didn't update it last time, but that's about right. I have 2 wins for Craig on my list, but it hasn't been updated in the last 2 months, so I might be wrong.
All right.
9-3 sounds fair.
I think we gave Craig the point when Aaron was here, and Craig won. But yeah, that's right.
So what we do if you're new to this is that Mike does a trivia quiz with us, which we invite all of you to play along and to do it as well. And usually have a theme behind the trivia, and we're going to do this for the last few minutes. Why don't you just take it from here?
Yeah, well, this one is about Project Fi and some just general Google questions, since we were talking about Project Fi a good bit today. We've got 7 questions, and this is closest to the pin sort of question. So see which one of you answer the question closest to the correct number. So who should go first, Ben?
I believe I will go first because Craig really enjoys one-up or one-downing me. So
He does. That's true. That's true. All right. Are you guys ready to begin?
We're ready?
All right. Your first question. Text messaging is included in the $20 a month price for Project Fi, even in other countries. International phone service is available in how many countries through Project Fi?
Oh man, how many other countries? Just going by other voice over IP, and Google obviously is going to be comparable. I'm going to say in 170 other countries.
100.
And correct.
100. Okay. I'm thinking. I think 170 countries. I'd say it'd be more. No, it's too new. I'll go 160. I'll go 169. I'll go one.
This is how Craig plays it for those who haven't seen before.
Safe bet.
He's very clever. There's no politeness there. This is for the win. He's fighting. Yeah. The correct answer is 120 countries, which gives Craig the point.
Right.
120 countries you can do that in, which is pretty cool, though, right out of the box that the same SIM card works in 120 countries.
I need some applause for that.
Okay. Do you know if that covers most of Europe, by the way?
I believe it does.
Perfect.
Yep, I believe it does.
All right.
Next question. Google started in a garage in Menlo Park, California. In what year did it incorporate under the name Google? And this will go to Craig because he answered the last one correctly, or closest.
Excellent.
So in what year did they incorporate under the name Google?
That was in the 90s, I would say. I'm going to go with 1998.
Safe so far. I like that.
I'll go 1998.
And Ben?
I'm gonna say 96. That's the number I was thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually started in the garage in 1997, but incorporated in 1998.
Oh, there you go.
So
Can't
that's
get much
2
closer
points
than
for
that.
Craig. Yeah, that's darn close. So that's 2 points for Craig, and we've got 5 questions remaining.
Okay.
Next question. What was Google's revenue in 2014, last year? What was Google's revenue? How much money did they bring in? I'll give you a hint.
Got to be a lot.
It was more than I brought in.
Okay.
Higher than my revenue.
I'd say
Maybe even higher than Computer America.
I'd say 16 billion.
Revenue?
16 billion.
Billion.
16 billion revenue. Well, their self-driving car hasn't come to market yet, so I'm gonna say it's much lower. I'm gonna say for being such a large company, I'm gonna say they pulled in around 10 billion.
10 billion. It's funny when 10 billion is the lower number, isn't it? 10 billion. The correct answer was $66 billion.
Wow.
Which gives Craig the point. And I think it's cool that you can be off by 50 billion and still be the closest answer.
That's like one Bill Gates every year.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of money, yes.
Mhm.
$66 billion in revenue. Yeah, so good job, Craig, being only 50 billion off. So Craig is leading 3-0 with 4 questions remaining. The name Google is a misspelling of the term Googol, G-O-O-G-O-L, which is a mathematical term, which is 1 followed by how many zeros? This is for Craig.
Yeah.
So, how big is a Google?
Yeah. It's a Googleplex, I think, is what it was. Was the term?
Googleplex is actually another mathematical term, which is even bigger yet.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would say how many zeros? I would say let's.
Is he Googling this as we speak?
No, a billion. Yeah, I was off by 50 billion. I'm
You don't want to be too obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a billion is a million, billion, trillion. I'll say 3, 6, 9, 12. I'd say 15 zeros.
And Ben?
15 zeros. I'm going to say followed by 100 zeros.
100 zeros? Okay.
Go big or go home.
Right.
That's right. Now, it's interesting that Ben chose not to go with 16, to go 1 above Craig's answer, but actually went with his own complete answer.
Yes.
And for that, he gets the point, because the correct answer actually is a 1 followed by with 100 zeros.
Wow.
He was
What
dead
do you
on.
know?
You Googled that.
He Googled Google.
I did
Spelled
not.
differently.
Well, Googleplex is supposed to be followed by 1,000 zeros, right?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, so I just chopped off the
Plex.
plex and chopped off a 0, so 100 zeros.
Okay. All right.
He's a clever guy you've got there.
Yeah, he is. Okay. Next.
All right, next question. So we are 3-1.
Mhm.
Next question, question 5. Google's corporate headquarters is located in Mountain View, California at the Googleplex. Fancy enough. After the addition is complete, this year they're building an addition. After that's complete, how big will the Googleplex be in square feet?
Oh, man.
This is to Ben first.
I've seen their place. It's awesome. They have like slides and colorful. It looks like a daycare for adults who make high technology. It's really, really fun. I'm gonna say their campus is probably sprawling. We're gonna say not quite as big as an Amazon warehouse, so 150,000 square feet.
150,000. I'm gonna go with the 500,000 square feet.
There you go, Greg.
There you go. And for that, you get a point. The correct answer, are you ready for this? 3.1 million square feet.
Oh!
Jeez.
That is a big complex.
That is huge.
That is huge.
That's a college
Now,
campus.
well, and it is a campus. I mean, the Googleplex is several buildings. It's not a building, but it is humongous. Yes. So question number 6.
You get lost in something like
I
that.
think you seriously could. You'd have to use Google Maps.
Exactly.
Some of the Google Fi voice services are based on Google Voice. Google Voice was largely based on Grand Central, which Google bought for $50 million. In what year did that acquisition take place? So when did Google buy Grand Central, which became Google Voice? They bought it for $50 million.
I'm gonna say 2000. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Craig.
I think Craig's going to say.
It's Craig.
Oh, it's mine. It's mine. Okay. Google Voice. What did they purchase it for? They always go for. They're always in the billions. So I'm going to say.
Wait, when or how much?
This is when. They bought it for $50 million, and I'm just asking when they bought it.
Oh.
See, I should let Craig say 50 billion because
You should have, because he would have been way off. That would have been really funny if he was still closer.
I'll say the Google Voice was fairly recent. I'll say 2013.
And Ben?
I'm gonna say 2008.
Wow, that is darn close. Correct answer was 2007.
Oh, okay.
Very close. So we're coming down to the last question. Our score is 4-2. So as always, this last question is worth 3 points.
Of course.
Just kidding. But question number 7: roughly how many searches are performed on Google every minute? Did you get that, Ben? Roughly how many searches are done on Google every minute?
A minute. That's like the fact that you had to whittle it down to a minute because obviously an hour or a day would have been too many. I'm gonna say 100,000.
I would
That's probably
say
too much, but yeah, whatever.
no. I'm gonna go. I think they'll do a lot more. 100,000. I'm gonna say
A minute?
a minute. Yeah. I'm gonna 100,001. I think it's a much higher.
100,001.
I think it's way higher than what Ben said. I'm gonna go 100,001.
At least he didn't go 50 billion.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
The correct answer is 2 million searches a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Can you believe that? And 16% of those searches have never been searched before.
whoa, that's
Isn't that 16% have never been done before?
Who's doing all this Googling? Who sleeps? Someone has to be sleeping somewhere.
Right? And imagine the poor guy working at Google who has to generate those results for every response. You know? That guy's probably exhausted by now. So the final score there, we actually get another win for Craig.
Yeah.
How do you like that? Craig gets another point. He's still in this.
Closing the gap.
Close the gap. Exactly.
Wait.
I like it.
It is the 9th. So that I'm sorry. It's the 9th month in the year. That means sometime in March, Craig could be tied.
If he wins each of the additional ones.
Yes.
Between now and then. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Then he could tie it.
So
well, you know,
March.
my birthday is in March. So that could be my birthday gift to have Craig tie. I don't know why.
Jonathan just says that he thinks I'm stalling so I can search it online. Thanks, Jonathan.
Right. But the problem is, by doing that, you're also giving Ben more time to search as well.
That's right. That's
so
true.
it goes both ways, you know.
Yeah. Well, if I was, I would have been a lot closer in the answers. That's
Very good, though. Very good. It is crazy to try and comprehend how big Google is and how much data they're dealing with.
They I guess it's just the automation of it all. They did a lot of things right by just how automated their search is, how it curates results, how it kind of analyzes what web pages it shows. Everything is so automated that I guess they've allowed themselves to become that big.
Yeah, well, and they've done a lot of things right. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do either of you remember what the original name was of Google? This is a bonus point for you, which counts for nothing.
I can't do one up or one down with that.
Yeah, Craig's going to say, whatever Ben says, +1.
Yeah, it was Yahoo Plus. No, I don't know.
It was called Backrub.
Backrub. No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't known that for very long. It was Backrub because the way it determined the relevancy of different sites was based on how many sites linked to it. So if you had a backlink, a site linking to your site, it increased the odds of your site being an important one. And
Well,
so they ended up calling it Backrub.
That's how they still have to do page ranking that way.
That's exactly right. That's the way PageRank originally started. They have a lot of other variables they put into PageRank now as well, but that was and always has been one of the biggest.
Yeah, one of the biggest is the more websites that link back to your or point to your website brings you up in the rankings. There
Right.
might be variability, but that's why when people offer you, oh, we can increase your page ranking, they really can't, because
That's almost always the case.
Yeah.
Google has an excellent page about that. If you ever get emails saying people can guarantee you a listing in Google or whatever, Google has a wonderful resource about that if you search for it that describes why they can't and how they can't. And it's funny because they even mention in there that they themselves have received these emails saying that the spammer will increase your listing in Google.
that's not the one with the pigeon ranking. Remember that I still think they have that there too.
Yes, they've done a couple search engine revisions too. They name them after animals. They've had the penguin update, which has been a real pain. Yes.
Well, Mike, listen, it's always a pleasure having you here on the show, and thank you so much for being with us here again. TechGuy.org, and we have a link to it at our website at ComputerAmerica.com, and Mike will have links back to us as well. It's just a mutual admiration that we have going for us here. And best of luck. Hopefully you'll have everything resolved next time we have you on the show. You'll be back at home.
We'll see. Hopefully I'll have internet and everything.
Yeah, but you like this afternoon. It's easy for you. You can do it right from your office. Right?
I don't mind the afternoon. I just need to schedule it out, but it's no problem. And with a 4-year-old, it's nice not having to stay up too late, so I'm not complaining.
There it is. Mike Cermak again from TechGuy.org. Mike, thanks so much for being with us here on tonight's show, and we'll catch you next month. Same time, same station, okay?
My pleasure. Have a good one, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There he goes, Mike Cermak from TechGuy.org. Again, and he'll be with us the first Wednesday of every month. Coming up, we have computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Some of the stories we're going to be talking about here is one of them I found really interesting is the global race to build the fastest supercomputer. We're going to have that story on that. The last one to exascale is a second-rate world power, and we're going to be talking about that story. Also, Windows 10 grabs 5% of the PC market in the first month. 5%. And I still haven't got my invitation. I was not included in that 5%.
Not to mention, Intel has officially launched all new CPUs.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we'll get to those stories and more. We're going to take just a short break, mere moments, and we'll continue on with Hour 2 of the Computer America Show. We're going to be right back. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on. Again, thanks to Mike Cermak for being with us here from TechGuy.org. Always a pleasure having him here. If you missed any portion of the show, you can always listen to it again. We archive Computer America on many, many different places, including the Blog Talk Radio Network that carries our show. The IRN Radio Network carries our show live. You can hear us on Stitcher and SoundCloud, other places that you can listen to the show. iTunes carries it, of course. And not only that, that's the audio portion of the show. You can also watch the Computer America. We archive our videos. Basically, right? We have our own YouTube channel. So just head over to ComputerAmerica.com, click on the little YouTube charm that's at the right of every page, and it'll take you to our YouTube channel, and you can watch as well as listen to the Computer America Show delayed format. But the big news, of course, is that Computer America has a new time slot. We are now live every day, Monday through Friday, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. This began the 1st of September yesterday, and we're continuing to do it. We're getting lots of good results from it. People are very happy with it. It makes it easier for us to get interviews, at least in the continental United States. Overseas, that's another question. But we're just finding that 3 to 5 works really, really well.
It does.
It does. I'm very pleased with it, and it actually frees up our evenings. We can actually, do other social things in the evening, which we really couldn't do before because we had a show to do. Now having it in the afternoon just frees us up. I think it's a good thing to have. Now, before we get started with news, again, if you have a comment or a question, we have to leave our phone lines open, 347-884-8881. Or you can submit a question at any page at computeramerica.com. The upper right-hand corner, it says submit a question. Just click on that, and you can submit your question. Okay. Anything else before we start our second hour here?
No, nothing that leaps immediately to mind. I think we're enjoying our new daytime time slot, and should just jump right into computer technology news.
All right, well, let's do it. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Slimwareutilities.com. Check them out. You'll be glad that you did.
All right. So I guess I'll start off with the news, and with the first story. I think this is going to be one of the bigger stories out there that could possibly happen today, and that is Intel, probably the leader in making CPUs and making processors. They've officially launched Skylake with the full bravado it deserves.
Yes.
And, they've leaked the roadmap, they've leaked the specs, they've leaked the price, they've leaked everything ahead of this, so none of this is going to be absolutely new. But this is the first time that we're seeing it, kind of in one pamphlet, in one sheet, and, presented officially by Intel. So, that's exciting. Okay. So, the first thing that we are probably going to talk about is the 45-watt mobile Skylake chips. These are the chips that will be going into cell phones, into tablets, into smaller laptops, that kind of thing. So these things are actually pretty dang fast. Going all the way up to the Core i7 processors with a base of 2.9 gigahertz. These things again will be going into tablets, and they're already that fast. These are, of course, going to be the top end at about $568. So don't expect any, $300 or $400 tablets to have this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But, it has all the hyper-threading, uses less energy than the previous iteration, than the 5th generation Intel Core mobile processor. And, the scale goes all the way from the 2.9 i7 all the way down to the 2.7 i3. That's going to be a little bit cheaper all around at $225, but that's what is probably going to be in a lot of phones and a lot of tablets in the coming months and years. Mm-hmm. So these, and they also have some here with the mobile processors. Some other ones we're not really going to talk about, but mobile. Mm-hmm. Here's the fun one, and I believe this is it. This is the Intel Core M processors. Nope, M, that's still mobile. Mobile desktop processor. Here's the one I like, because mobile's fine and dandy, but a phone's a phone. You play a few games on it, you surf the web on it, and that's pretty much it. But here's the fun one.
Desktop
is always what I like to look at. And with this new line, the 6th generation Intel Core desktop processor, SKU, is i7 6700. This is their newest one. Mm-hmm. 4 to 8 cores and threads, so virtual cores and threads included. Base frequency of 3.4 gigahertz. Now I have an i5 built into mine, and that thing runs at 3.4 gigahertz, after it's been overclocked, and this thing runs that at base speeds.
Mm.
Very, very nice.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, and they have a max single core turbo is of course 4 gigahertz, and that doesn't include any kind of hyper-threading or anything like that. So so handles up to 2 gigs of DDR4 or 1600 of DDR3, and blah 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 blah. Price. Looking at price here, and I believe that says $312.
Yes, it does. $312.
Not bad.
Yeah, but
Not bad.
all the different features that you mentioned. Does it say? Is it using the what nanometers? How many nanometers is this technology using? Is it the
Skylake has Skylake was supposed to be the first set of this generation, because Skylake is kind of extending itself. This generation of chips that was actually codenamed something else was pushed back a year while they get the I believe it was the 7 nanometer chips, into production, because it's a little bit harder to do. But I believe these are the 11 nanometer chips.
Okay.
So next year we'll see 7. This year there's still 11, which doesn't mean they're any worse. Just means that they're a little bit bigger and a little bit more power hungry. But still, 11 nanometer is so small. It's still a very impressive piece of technology. And hey, you could do worse for $300 for a processor.
Oh.
You can be sure that even I'm looking at getting one of these.
And now they also have two version of power. One is a 65-watt version, which you were reading about it, and then the chart below is for the 35-watt version, unofficially referred to as Skylake T. And the lower wattage, I guess, is lower
wattage. So they all run at a little bit slower speeds, with the max single core turbo at 3.6 as opposed to the 4.0, and just the base frequency being a 2.8 instead of a 3.4. So
okay. And the specs are very impressive. Of course, obviously I'd like to see some benchmarks, running.
Benchmarks have been out for a while now. You can definitely go find them, but this is the first time Intel has released this slideshow and all these sheets of everything stacked up against each other.
Yeah. And the picture of the processor looks really cool. So I could see
as cool as a processor needs to look. I mean,
I can see it as a
let's face it, folks, it's going to be buried inside of your computer.
I'll never see it, but you can blow it up and put it as a picture on your wall or something. No. Anyway,
cannot account for taste.
Anyway, Skylake is out there and assuming appearing on a computer coming to a dealer near you shortly.
There you go.
All right, this next story from Popular Science, I teased it. The global race to build the fastest supercomputer.
It's always been a point of pride for a lot of people.
It is. I mean,
a lot of countries.
Yeah, the U.S. had it for a while, and then China had it for a while, and Korea had it for a very short time. But it looks like now the two big players vying for the fastest supercomputer is the United States and China. And this goes back evidently about 10 years. And China, it's been an obsession owning the world's fastest computer, basically. But America is certainly we're doing our best to be the best. Okay.
Well, China has actually been kicking our butts lately, like for the past, because they rank them each quarter. It's not a once a year kind of deal, but each quarter they announce the newest supercomputer, and it changes. It really does. They rank the top 10, and China usually has 7 out of the top 10, and America has been the top, maybe I think once back in 2014, and it's very sporadic that the U.S. actually gets up there, because the amount of money that we're putting into supercomputers is it's just not a priority compared to China, who is who has such a growing infrastructure that supercomputers, it's kind of a necessity between their research department, between their government, between just everyone else. Supercomputers are actually, a lot more valuable to the Chinese, and it shows.
Yeah. Well, according to the article here, and the Obama administration had envisioned an exascale computer, that's capable of 1 quintillion, or that's a very large number. That's 1 billion floating operations per second, which is exactly 1 exaflop, and things like that could. And why are we doing it? Because it's interesting, because these computers, they're not looking to play the fastest game of World of Warcraft on these things. They're looking to, they're looking to understand how the weather works and have more accurate predictions of weather, because the computations that have to be done on a moment by moment basis to keep the weather, because the weather changes constantly, and the faster you can get these algorithms to be computed.
Well, it's not just that. It's also the fact that you could put more variables in it. Because before, you could put, here's where the high pressure system is, here's the low pressure system, and you had, maybe 20, 30, 40 points demarcating where, this pressure system is and ends. Now that you can put in thousands of points of data, thousands of points of temperature, of wind direction, of wind speed, of humidity, like you can put in all of these points from all the different places. That's going to give you a much better descriptor of what what weather is like, and that's especially important, let's say, for hurricanes or for storm tracking or for earthquakes. It's just programs that before, it would probably give you this. It would probably give you the result just as fast. But now that we can put in so much more data, you're going to get so much more accurate results. But you need, again, as much computing power to, actually be able to use and, to input those points of data.
Now, let me just be clear: the exaflop is still a target. We're not anywhere near that.
Oh, no.
Currently, we're in petaflops, and the world's second fastest computer right now is China. It has 17.59 petaflops,
which is still crazy powerful.
Oh my gosh! Well, the U.S. has one that was the Tianhe-2. The Tianhe 2 is a 33.86 petaflop machine. Okay. So, but according to the story, they believe that we could get to the exaflop machine for exaflop is 1,000 petaflops. We're still at under 100 petaflops here at this point, but 1,000 petaflops is 1 exaflop, and that's what we have to get to. And they feel that we can eventually get to it, and we'll be able to reach that goal. But right now, I don't know. Does the article actually say who has the fastest machine currently? Right now, I think it's.
I think it's still the Tianhe 2 from China.
Yeah. There it is. So China still has the fastest one. Korea's not even mentioned anymore. They sort of fell off the which I'm surprised, because Korea is such a technology savvy country. But evidently right now the fastest computer is in China. They're actually showing a picture of one of them here. Very impressive looking.
Oh, these computers aren't like them. They're not. They're not a desktop sitting somewhere, or they're not a giant monitor attached to them.
The mainframe.
Yeah, they're not giant rooms with monitors all over the place. No, they're just giant warehouses with racks of GPUs, with racks of CPUs, and everything just tied, run by wire to one terminal or a couple easy access terminals. And you kind of access it from one point, and then it goes to hundreds of racks with thousands of GPUs and thousands of CPUs to do it.
And it's all by direct cabling and wiring, which goes under the floor. That's actually a floating floor. The underneath the ground that you see that. Computers before the personal computer used to look. Similar configurations. They don't look like that, but they were similar configurations. They were monstrous. And now, of course, the cell phone, the smartphone that you hold in your hand has probably more computing than those computers of those days. But now, when we're talking about supercomputers like this is a picture of IBM's Blue Gene computer, by the way, that we're looking at Popular Science. These are really incredible systems, and it's just not just for the exercise who has the fastest. I mean, as you said, there's weather use, there's military use, there's all these different things that they use them for.
But the country that owns it is, of course, going to attract the.
Sure.
It's going to attract people like scientific research, scientific analysis. Because if you want to do something like weather prediction, or even projects including deep space, like what happens when a quasar explodes or something like that. It's things on that scale. They're going to take those projects to the countries that actually have the infrastructure to test these ideas. So if you have a supercomputer and you have it available for testing, hey, that's some commerce that otherwise would go to China or Korea or what have you.
But one thing that this article ignores, and I'm kind of wondering about it myself, is that as fast as these computers are, I think the one area that holds the most hope for supercomputers are quantum computers, because
I think they're dealing with the technology that we have today.
Right.
So.
But quantum computers now hold the promise for, because a quantum computer will be able to do so much more than the technology that we're using today with these supercomputers.
But the quantum computers are very, very, very heavy in research. Like, they're not even in proof of concept; they're in research. So you can't exactly make a supercomputer out of something that's still in the baby steps of research and development.
As I said, it holds the few for the future. Not now, but down the road some way. I think that our next generation of supercomputers will be quantum computers, and it'll be a giant leap. It'll be a quantum leap, literally. No play on words. A quantum computer, a quantum leap in computing technology.
I think these countries and these companies, they're not holding their breath for some kind of breakthrough technology. They're taking what they know and just the ever advancing, GPUs and CPUs that are available to consumers, and they squeeze more onto these systems every single year, every 18 months. It just gets more and more powerful. So if you just build a supercomputer out of the more advanced parts, like a supercomputer built 18 months ago, is obviously going to be less powerful than a supercomputer built with the same exact specifications, but with newer technology. It's just that's just how it is. So it's using technology that you and I can buy off the shelf. It's just using lots of them, like millions upon millions of dollars worth of equipment.
Right. By the way, Jonathan sent another comment. He says he's surprised that Ben didn't use Cortana for the quiz.
I saw that, yeah.
Okay.
I don't trust her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's smart enough yet, but
Exactly. All right. Anyway, Ben and I are doing Computer Technology News, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. So that's it for the global race to build the fastest computer. What's the next story?
Next story is one that advancing technology. It's Seagate now has theirs. It's not a supercomputer and it's not a race, but it does seem to be a trend. And this from Max and PC, Mr. Paul Lilly, and more. And this is Seagate somehow manages to get 2 terabytes of storage into a 7mm laptop hard drive.
Oh my gosh.
That is so crazy. And this of course doesn't touch the 16 gig solid state drive that we've saw, but I think even that was like in a 21mm form factor.
Yes. Uh-huh.
It was much larger than this. 7mm easily fits into most laptops, no matter how thin they get, and that's the point. Though laptops have traditionally had to have, I think the top end laptops had maybe a terabyte if you were lucky. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get that much storage, especially for traditional hard drives, because hey, it's you have moving platters and they need room to move. But somehow Seagate managed to get 2 terabytes into a very thin, slim package. 7mm. It's not much.
let's be clear that this is not a solid state drive. This is a traditional
That's why, traditional hard drive.
traditional hard drive. But the news here is that because it's a 7mm form factor, it could be attractive, for OEMs looking to cram more storage into an ultra thin laptop. Although I know Seagate's involved with solid state storage. I think hard drives are basically on their way out. This may be one of the last. Solid states are going to be so much more competitive. The prices come down, and I think.
Okay, other than what Craig is saying.
Yes.
Hard drives are not going away anytime soon.
No, they're not.
They're not on their way out. This isn't going to be the last iteration of a hard drive.
No.
They're going to be here because they offer such great advantages in storage as compared to their prices. Eventually, the future, 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road, yes, absolutely, solid state drive is the way you want to go. But today, here, now, Seagate has a very impressive 2 terabyte hard drive available in a 7mm form factor.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
By the way, I think your 20 to 30 year estimate is off a bit. I think we're going to see that those inexpensive solid state drives in the next 5 years. We're going to see it happen. But that's just me. That's my guess. Not 30 or 40 years. Okay.
They just came to market about maybe 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, but we're moving so fast that I think we're
tape drives are still in use.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, for technology to be completely pushed out is never going to happen.
No, and I agree with you there. I think hard disk drives will be relegated to what the tape drives are today. It'll be mass storage, inexpensive mass storage, and yet you'll still have random access as you do with a hard drive as opposed to a tape drive, and they'll be relegated to that. But for contemporary desktop,
but I mean, even that, cars are still sold with CD players in them. Even though MP3s and digital is the way to go, no physical storage needed, there are cars that are still sold with CD players, 15, 16, 17 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Technology doesn't disappear that fast. It develops that fast, sure, but to actually make it down into the consumer market and start displacing things that takes a while.
Okay.
So 5 years seems completely out of the question.
Okay. All right.
So back on this isn't just 1 terabyte platter squished into a 7mm chassis. It also features a new mechanical firmware architecture with state-of-the-art heads, media, and electronic design. So this thing weighs only about 3.17 ounces. It's 25% lighter than the previous hard drive. And Seagate didn't offer up any performance metrics, though being a mechanical hard drive, don't expect to be blown away. And they said that Seagate is considering a hybrid model that would combine NAND flash memory with the spinning platter, so making it a hybrid drive. It's best of both worlds, with a solid-state drive used as NAND flash, and of course the competitive storage of a 2 terabyte model. Something very exciting in a market where, especially with let's say Chromebooks, laptops are getting smaller and smaller and thinner, but their internal storage seems to be also becomes smaller and smaller. So if they can keep developing this and putting it into different smaller computers, maybe the internal storage doesn't have to be thrown out. You don't have to sacrifice internal storage in return for getting a thinner computer.
Fair enough.
That was
fair enough. And as you mentioned, it's 2 spinning platters, not 1, but it's amazing that they're getting into that flat a package, that tiny a package. But another just technology. Moving on.
Yep.
Very cool. This next story. Actually, I don't know if we have time to do it. Okay. Well, I know the iPhone had this. There was this not rumor, but it was a prank. People were saying, "Oh, if you put, there's an app you can buy, and you can put something on the glass of an iPhone, it would actually weigh the item."
That'd be neat.
Yeah, that was neat. Well, evidently, someone beat the prankster to the actual thing. Evidently, and Apple, they have just announced Huawei announced a smartphone that weighs objects with force touch. In other words, you could put an orange on the screen of it, and it'll tell you how heavy or how much it weighs. Now, they made this announcement at the IFA 2015, which is Europe's biggest tech show, and they said they're adding Force Touch to its phones a full week before Apple announced the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus, which, by the way, is likely to contain the same feature. And that's nice. Okay, so it's only a couple of weeks away, a week away actually, because we're in September 2nd now. Now, Apple, if you remember, unveiled the Force Touch technology with their Apple Watch, okay, which is a way to use different pressures to reveal different hidden controls throughout the watch's interfaces, okay? Well, evidently, Apple is going to be doing the same thing. Apple, of course, is very tight about revealing things like this ahead of time.
Yep.
But I can see, taking my phone, putting it on a flat surface, and taking an object and putting, I'm gonna send something out, take a package, and put it on the phone to see how much it weighs.
Maybe they didn't want to do that because of Bendgate.
Yeah. Well, if you put the phone on a flat surface, it has nowhere to bend. But you can put something small on it, and it'll actually give you the weight readout. If they put the Force Touch technology into the iPhone 6 and S and 6s Plus, then I think this would just be a matter of writing the app to take advantage of that, because then the hardware is there to do that, and I think it would be kind of cool. Now, this phone, though, by the way, that we're talking about is called the Mate S. Will allow your device to actually act as a scale to weigh light objects. But they didn't tell you, they don't mention the maximum weight can be used with the phone, but obviously it's something. Oh, look at that. If you're watching our video, you can see Merlin with Ben.
Yep. He likes listening to the show, as many of you do. So, thought we'd bring him in. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Now, the Huawei Mate S brings along many improvements since their last phone. It comes with 3 gigs of memory and storage space up to 32 gigs and up. It's the camera will weigh in at 13 megapixels on the rear and 8 megapixels toward the front. And they also have a non-removable battery. And the price for this phone will start at about $730.
Whew.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more expensive than iPhones.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is an Android phone or what. It doesn't say, but
Huawei has their own operating system.
Yeah.
They're big in China, though.
Yeah, they're big in China, but here in the States, not so big. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour. We got to take a little break. Ben and I will continue to do more computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We also have another news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston, and then we'll be right back with more stories right after this. You're listening to Computer America. Hi, this is Craig Grossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control. where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Yeah, like there's a Perry Mason from Murphy's Law. Hi, it's Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Nextbook Flex 10 from IFA, a 10.1-inch 2-in-1 with a detachable keyboard to convert it from tablet to small notebook. And it comes with Windows 8.1. It's a very modestly crafted product. Just 2 gig of RAM, a quad-core Atom-class CPU, 2-megapixel front-rear cameras, just 32 gig of disk space, but an SD slot so you can boost that, and only low-band Wi-Fi. It's an economy model that we initially intended for a special role as a dedicated platform for a single app, then changed our minds. We dared upgrade it to Windows 10 and put it to work as primarily a browser box, but with the ability to capture, store, send print jobs, and run other apps. It's proving very good in this very mainstream role. Bottom line, the IFA Nextbook Flex 10 brings more than enough power for what most people mostly do. Marty Winston for the News Tips Bulletin and Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Here when 33 minutes past the hour, and thank you, Martin Winston, for that News Tip Bulletin review. You'll be hearing that one all week long, as well as the one the first hour. And we're just doing some of the big technology news stories of the day, and there's a lot of big heavy ones, but here's one that I think is a little bit easier to grasp and something a lot of people have been waiting for.
Okay.
And this is a story that comes from Engadget, this little website, and it's finally happened. Enough outrage and enough hula, whatever, Hulu without the ads is here for $4 more per month.
Wow.
I read this article, but yeah, it's a little bit of big news. It's Hulu has finally decided to offer a version of its subscription without the ad breaks. Because if you didn't know this, or at least you didn't sign up to Hulu, a big point of contention was people were paying $8 a month, so about the same as Netflix, but then they were still getting ads on any shows they watched. That made a lot of people upset because you're paying for a service and then you're still getting ads just like you weren't.
You don't get that on Netflix.
No ads on Netflix.
No. You think hopefully they're going to keep that?
Yeah, we're not talking about Netflix right now. But ad-free Hulu is here, and for $12 a month instead of $8 a month, you will get no more ads. And this is and this will, of course, it will soon include more movies that Netflix, of course, doesn't have, thanks to a deal with Epix, which is, of course, the premium cable channel. Although there is one small catch, which indicates that due to licensing, a few shows will still have ads before and after, but not during, episodes. All 7 are listed after the breaks. So the ads have always separated from the competition, like Amazon and Netflix.
Yeah.
And of course, Netflix can range from $8 to $12 per month, but all come without ads, and include benefits like ultra high definition, which is amazing, by the way, and surround sound, which Hulu still doesn't have. And at last check, Hulu had over 9 million subscribers, while Netflix is up to 42 million. Netflix is huge. So even though ads are a way of life on cable and broadcast television, Hulu's annoying tendency to repeat the same few selections during a single show always drove the author crazy. So this change and a slew of exclusive original content, including Seinfeld, The Mindy Project, and Difficult People, means it's finally a serious competitor for people's attention. So this is, of course, a wait and see, check out what these subscription numbers are, but for $4 a month more, I think people are willing to swallow the $12 a month. That is, of course, a little bit cheaper than HBO Now. A little bit cheaper than HBO Now at $15 a month. So $12 isn't exactly the highest we've ever heard of, and they do have a very nice offering because they're able to make a lot more deals with television shows. Seinfeld is, of course, one of the big ones, and I think now that there is an ad-free option, they're definitely going to see their subscription numbers rise because ads, yes, they're a way of life for a lot of different forms of media. Ads are supposed to be the thing that you don't pay for cable other than the package, but you don't specifically pay for CBS or whatever. So that's the way that they kind of keep their prices down, is they serve up ads which they then pass the cost on to different companies and services. But people felt like once you paid $8 a month and you were still getting ads, you felt like they were getting Hulu was getting more money from more places unduly. So I think with this change, hopefully people go to Hulu, realize that it's an okay service. They do have really good content, and hey, I love Netflix. Netflix is amazing, but I also like competition. So Hulu could just be the thing.
Now, it's interesting because if you're an advertiser and you know that they're offering this $12 a month, and they're going to have ads before a show and have ads after the show, but not during, which ads are you going to want? Because guarantee you, the people after the show is over, they're not going to sit there and watch ads. They're going to click and close the window. They're only going to watch the ads that they're forced to watch, which is before the show. So,
I think Hulu probably saw that in their numbers already because, again, this is the age of the internet. Data is collected from everywhere, and they probably knew that people were, changing things or using ad blockers or what have you. They probably knew that the response rate for their ads were pathetically low. So if it was working, they wouldn't have changed it. So by offering the service, they're hoping to change up a bit, and they just kind of have to say, hey, we have to offer this to stay viable. And people really do want an ad-free service.
All right. Well, Netflix has certainly proven that, and
they've made a nice little business model with 42 million people.
Yes, they did. It's not so little.
And yeah, I mean, Netflix is a great example. They've even radically changed themselves to being a DVD at your door, which was a crazy convenience back when it was new, but they quickly changed and saw the value of, because before you only had streaming on select titles if you paid the $15 a month for the DVD delivery service, and they quickly saw that people really, truly, and honestly only wanted the streaming service. So they made the correct, I think, very smart decision to offer people the streaming, and they did it very quickly, and that's kind of what gave them the leg up. It's they were one of the first exclusively online streaming services.
Yep. But as you know, everything is going streaming now. Technology. I mean, even music, everything, iTunes, everybody's going streaming.
There's one that we might just talk about a little bit later after Craig's story, but this was a story I believe we talked about the other night, and yes, we're gonna cover it, but Amazon, we talked about it yesterday. Actually, Amazon was the first company to offer offline movies and television show streaming.
Oh yes, that's right.
So it's not just streaming that's coming, but also offline streaming, which Apple Music has started doing, and many other services allow you to do. So
it's counterintuitive offline streaming. So it's like an oxymoron, but it actually isn't. But
yep.
And we'll explain that.
It seems to be the next push is to not have to be strictly tied to your internet service, but to be able to have all the access and all the variety and get it for a cheap monthly cost.
Right.
So
Well, we'll just do this real quick story, and then we'll go to that. This is one again from Paul Lilly, Maximum PC. Windows 10 grabs 5% of PC market in the first month. 5% of the PC market, Windows 10.
it's not bad.
Not bad at all. This comes from StatCounter. They compiled this, and of course, it goes on to say that this is not surprising because Microsoft virtually ensured a fast start by giving it away as a free upgrade to Windows 7 and Windows 8 users. He says what will be more telling is if all those free upgrades translate into long-term Windows 10 users or if those who upgraded ultimately decide to roll back. I don't see them going back.
No way.
I don't think it's going to happen. And he says that's something to examine another time. But basically, Windows 10 is running on roughly 5% of the world's PCs. So basically, he has some different stats. That's good for news from Microsoft. Although he says the Edge browser isn't seeing the same kind of interest. Well, because it's still relatively new. Give it a little chance. I think it's going to do well. Windows 10 came out of the traps much faster than Windows 8 and also exceeded the launch of Windows 7. This is the CEO at StatCounter said. He says, while its early days, usage of Edge by Windows 10 users has fallen by 6% points from its peak the day after the global launch. I guess people wanted to see. They were curious. They wanted to see what Edge would do, so everybody was trying it. And then they're going back to their old standbys like Chrome and Firefox, But I think Edge is going to be a contender, especially when they offer, plugins as it continues to grow. And another really cool thing about Edge is that it'll use plugins for Chrome and or Firefox. It's going to be able to use us, so developers won't have to rewrite their plugins for the Edge browser. Edge will be able to use them natively, just like that.
Right.
Which I think is going to be huge. So, but Edge doesn't do that yet. I say when that starts to happen, I think a lot more people are going to go over to Edge when that begins to happen. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. So that's it. There you go. 5% of the market in the first month, Windows 10.
Yeah, it's a nice start, but like we said before, they're not just hoping to get 5%. They're actually looking to get a billion PCs by 2016.
Yeah, and they will. I'm fairly confident they will. I think Windows 10 is going to do that.
If any of the recent releases, between Windows 7, Windows 8, and 8.1, if anything was going to do it, it would be Windows 10. Has the best possibility, but that's still such an ambitious goal.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So,
okay.
Next one. Let's talk about. I don't know. There's so many of them. No. If you want to hear about that offline streaming, go to Tuesday show where we talked about it.
Okay.
Instead, we're gonna do this one. Robots. I love robots. You love robots? Everyone loves robots.
Mm-hmm.
Robots are taking away so many jobs, and here's yet another one: room service. So this is the Relay the Robot and Tesla Lau. And so soon hotels will be, by the way, this is delivery robots are coming to a hotel near you. Surface with a side of bleeps and bloops. Lindsay Craddock will. There we go. Anyways, soon robots will be teaming, soon hotels will be teaming with robots. At least that's the hope of Savoyki, a startup that develops robots for the service industry. The company's room service helpers have made more than 4,000 deliveries so far, and its newest robot, Relay, has been deployed in about 10 early adopter locations, delighting most guests but committing the occasional faux pas. So to find out what will be like when there's a robot in every hotel, they talked to the co-founder of Relay. So actually, this is Q&A. That actually doesn't make good for reading, but just think about a day where room service is handled by a robot.
I don't know. I have
your door.
I have mixed opinion on this. I mean, when I go to when I go to a hotel, and I order room service, I like the fact that it comes up with the bellman comes up pushing it, with the tablecloths and knocks on your door, and then he'll serve you and do that. I like being I like the amenities of room service, which you don't really get with a robot. Granted, a robot is novel and it's kind of cute and everything, but I don't think it's going to ever replace the luxury that you have when you order room service at a hotel and it's delivered by a person, catering to you.
I don't think this is ever going to be in a situation of luxury. Like, you're not going to sign in to enter expensive hotel here, and it's going to be robots everywhere. No, I think this is going to be the personal favorite, La Quinta. It's going to be your Holiday Inn. It's going to be your chain cheap ones that can then. I hate to say it, but this is about saving money. Fire their room service people, have a robot, and just have it working continuously 24/7, and not have to pay it a penny.
That there it makes good sense. You have it at a less expensive. I mean, you're not going to get this at the Four Seasons and that type of thing. But if you go to an economy hotel, and it might allow them to offer room service on a 24-hour basis. Most inexpensive hotels offer, cut off room service after like 11 o'clock or something like that, or 10 o'clock. With a robot, then you'd still have to have the kitchen open, but maybe they would have a reduced menu, but at least they would still offer the service. It wouldn't require a person to bring it up. It would be mechanized. There is that. So that's a possibility. I would agree with you there.
Yep, and also they even talked about a situation that this robot actually had to deal with, where a drunk person had an altercation with the robot. He said that the robot had cut him off, and him being drunk, he had actually kicked the robot and threw it into the elevator door, and
in turn the robot destroyed him with phasers.
Not quite. And the robot didn't even care. The robot turned around, got on the elevator, and went to the second floor. And just, robots don't get mad. They don't get angry. They don't get hurt. They're just there. They're just tools. So,
I would have preferred a robot with a phaser.
And I am of the mind of having more robots like Marvin. Just depressed little things walking around.
Depressed little things walking around. Exactly.
I mean, they're robots made for the service industry. You'd think they'd be depressed, by program.
Could be.
Whatever.
We don't know if they talk, though.
They quite possibly might. I've met robots that talk. It's obviously very pre-scripted, please excuse me, that kind of thing. But yeah, robots talk.
It could also be an extension of just the central room service. In other words, somebody who's delivering it, could be managed. So when you talk, it's just basically an intercom goes to a person who can speak back to you through the robot. Well, I think more likely, but initially.
But I don't even think that would be it, because the point of this thing is to be autonomous. And the moment you have someone sitting in a chair looking through a webcam talking on a microphone, that's not autonomy.
No, it's not. Well, does it say it's autonomous completely? Does it say? All right.
Yes.
Well, all right. Well, then it probably has some standard greetings and whatever.
So that's robots in hotels.
Robots in hotels. Interesting. All right. Now here's another story from Engadget. Comcast in the news again. Evidently, they're going to begin a new program. They're going to start charging its trial users extra to avoid data caps.
Yes, getting the sneaky cable charges in early. I guess it's like giving the trial members the full experience of being a Comcast customer. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're participating in Comcast capped broadcast trials, you're soon going to get a way to avoid usage limits, according to this report. And the answer is pay more money. They released information about its Xfinity program in Florida, where we happen to be, by the way. One of the reasons it's testing its 300 gigabyte cap limits. There's going to be a new unlimited data option, and that's in quotes. Unlimited data option will let users avoid any overcharges which normally run $10 for each 50 gigs of data, by paying an extra $30 per month on top of the normal rates. And if you do that, then you have unlimited data for the extra $30. So I guess, you need to see what your data usage is. I mean, if you're using Netflix and you're downloading copious quantities of data and you're seeing it.
But regardless, there have been study after study after study, and the executives at Comcast and other ISPs, they have even said blatantly that there is no reason for data caps. Data caps exist purely to punish those who use internet. It's not like they're hurting because there's too much traffic. That's far from the case. They've just found a way to suck more money out of people that they deemed are using too much internet. It's not, it's not taxing their system anymore. It's a money grab, folks. It's a freaking money grab.
I understand that, and the FCC also sees it the same way, and they might not let this happen. Again, according to this article, and judging by the recent net neutrality complaints, it's not likely the FCC is going to stomach anything that increases already sky-high rates. So this might not fly by government regulation.
I've even read articles where people have called into Comcast and complained about a data cap that they had hit, and they said, why do I have data caps? And they said, oh, well, it's mandated on the state level by law. That's not true at all. Nowhere does it say you have to implement data caps anywhere. It's purely punishing those who use internet, and it's atrocious.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, so now if you're in Florida and you're listening to this, they might try to.
Hey, Comcast is offering Xfinity, so you might want to get that. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. Okay, so here's one. This is an interesting story because it has very large names behind it, and Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, Mozilla, and then even some more on top have created a new alliance called the Alliance for Open Media. And by the way, it's Amazon, Cisco, Google, Intel, Microsoft, Mozilla, Netflix, and of course more. But anyways, they've Alliance for Open Media with the goal of developing the next generation of royalty-free video formats, codecs, and other related technologies.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, and this is from TechCrunch, by the way. Frederick Lardinois. Okay. But it's not often we see these rival companies come together to build a new technology together, but the members argue that this kind of alliance is necessary to create a new interoperable video standard that will work across vendors and platforms. While it goes unmentioned in the announcement, it's also clear that none of the members involved in this alliance want to have to pay royalties to the likes of MPEG LA. So, this is very, very important because there are so many different standards for MPEG, FLAC, blah, 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 that videos, they can come in many different varieties, and depending on how you record them and how you play them, someone somewhere down the line, be it your operating system that has it or wherever, someone that somewhere down the line has to pay royalties. And not only that, but it's kind of harder because you can't just go out and make your own, because there are patents left and right already established by many of these companies that we've just talked about. Mm-hmm. They own patents regarding video codecs and video video formats.
Right.
So by creating this alliance and by working with each other, and I'm sure by lending their form of patents, because just imagine how many patents Google has. They have tons of patents.
Right.
So by building one alliance and then by building one format that works across all of them, it just makes developmental sense that you don't have to worry about stepping on other people's patents and then having to pay them fees for using patents.
Sure, exactly. Well, it's royalties. You would have to pay them royalties.
Yeah. So pay them royalties. So they've formed. They're going to start creating it, and hopefully this is going to be used in adjunct with HTML5, but just a single use video format. It's the many different formats out there serve the end user little service. It just makes them annoyed whenever they can't play a certain format.
That's why I have VLC. I mean, because you'll have a format you can't do it, and VLC is by the way an open source. It's totally free. And I use it as sort of like a can opener, as a last ditch effort to get to play a video file that none of my other video players will play, and 99 times out of 100 it'll work. And this is just one step further. They're going the other route, rather than have a special player like VLC. Everything basically, if they adopt
one format and one codec that will play across any platform, any service, any browser, anything ever.
And I'm sure Ben applauds something like this. I mean, this is something that's really good, because too many formats.
And it's not just a startup. That's part that makes this really interesting. It's not just a startup that promises to make a video format that anyone can use. This is Google, Amazon, Intel, Cisco, Mozilla, Microsoft, Netflix. These are big names in the video world.
And because of that, we can be fairly assured that they're going to make headroads into this. We're going to see some progress. This is not some fly-by-night company that's coming up with this. With these names behind it, this stands a chance of really becoming viable.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, the ones that you named are so many of them that produce this and use this. And so if a company...
Netflix alone, we just talked about their 42 million subscribers. Netflix alone would, I think, highly enjoy a video format that worked across any operating system, any platform, any hardware, anything ever. Like, they alone would like it, let alone Microsoft and Cisco and the likes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, obviously we'll keep an eye on this, and this looks like it's something that I think something like this is completely viable, especially with the companies that we've named for this next generation of video format. And it's interesting they have an old VCR tape as the picture on.
90 seconds.
Well, that wraps it up here for Computer America. Again, thanks to all of you for being here. Again, thanks to Mike Cermak from TechGuy.org for being here with us. It was a lot of fun. Coming up on tomorrow's show, in the first hour, we're going to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. That's coming up in the first hour. And then the second hour, we're going to have the Verizon Foundation is going to be here. We're going to have the Director of Education Programs for the Verizon Foundation, Justina Nixon Saintiel, is going to be joining us here on the show. And the Verizon, this is basically, it's the Verizon Foundation is a philanthropic arm of Verizon. They're dedicated to solving critical social issues in the area of education, healthcare, and energy management, particularly in underserved communities. So this is a very interesting program, and all of you to be here with us tomorrow, same time, same station. That wraps it up. Thanks so much for being with us. And so until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you.
Good day, everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, thanks for being here with us on our live video after show. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., same time, Monday through Friday. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Later, everyone.